What's up, guys? We are sitting here with the one and only Policy Buff Link 800 watt second strobe system. I have been waiting for this for almost a year since I saw it at Imaging USA 2020 before everything. So now we're back, and Policy Buff re-released it at the end of January of 2021, and this thing is a beast. So not only is it an 800 watt second strobe with a 9-stop power variability, it's also got an 800 watt equivalent LED daylight balance modeling light. So if you're a photographer like myself that shoots in the studio but also wants to do video editing as well, and maybe do some YouTube videos on the side, this is a killer unit that becomes an all-in-one package. Not only that, but it's AC powered and battery powered, so you can take this thing on the go. Let's unbox it. My goodness, this thing is a beauty, and it's built like a tank. This is an all-metal housing, and it actually comes in at about 7 pounds 8 ounces. This thing is built heavy. All right, let's get into the specs of this. This is one of the most powerful lights I've ever owned, and I'm gonna tell you right now, we're going to piss off ProPhoto users because the PolBuff Link outdoes the ProPhoto B1X at 1/3 of the price. We're gonna get into that in a second. But first, the construction. This is an all-metal housing, and look at that, it's got heat sinks all across the top, as well as ventilation on the back where there is a fan that operates at just about 30 decibels, so it's whisper quiet when it runs. The digital display on the back is easy to read, and then on the bottom here you've got your plug for your AC cable, as well as the ports here for the battery to slide in. We got this with the Nikon hub kit, so this is what it comes with. Not only do you get the AC cable that comes in the box with the standalone unit, but you also get the hub of your choice, either Nikon or Canon. They're still working on Sony and Fuji. Stick around, guys. As well as a battery and a charger. The charger can charge 2 batteries at once, consecutively, not simultaneously. So the specs. This strobe can do 9 stops of power variability, from 3.1 watts all the way up to 800 watts in 10-stop increments. The digital display on the back is super easy to read, and it has a built-in CyberSync transceiver. But if you're not a PolBuff transmitter or receiver user, it has a standard sync port on the back, a Pocket Wizard port on the top, as well as a slave dome on the top that can see 360 degrees around it. Here's where this gets really crazy. Policy Buff, until this model, didn't have high-speed sync or TTL. Instead, on their Einstein model, which has been out for quite some time now, they had something called Action Mode. And Action Mode is the reduction of the T1 flash duration. So you'll get a little bit of variability in the color temperature in exchange for a much faster light pop. So on the old model, the Einstein, which is still a phenomenal flash, you could get a T1 flash duration of up to 1/13,000th of a second, which if you have full control of the light in your studio, can freeze virtually anything in time. I don't even know any camera that can shoot that fast at a shutter speed. On this model, you have a T1 flash duration of over 1/18,000th of a second, which is ridiculously fast. Could you freeze a bullet with that?
Maybe, yeah.
You might, we'll have to test it. I think you could freeze a bullet with it. Don't take my word for it. But if you're not gonna use the Action Mode in studio, you now have high-speed sync and TTL, and high-speed sync works up to 1/8000th of a second. So we're going to take this out in the field and try that out, and we'll give you some examples on that later on in a future video. Here's another ProPhoto B1X killer: color consistency. Some flashes have an issue where across a power range, the color output is going to change a little bit, by a couple hundred Kelvin in some horrible cases. The ProPhoto B1X, as an example, has a color variability of about 150 Kelvin across the range, which is pretty good. The PulseSeeBuff Link has a 50 Kelvin color variability across the entire spectrum, from 3.1 watts all the way up to 800, which is ridiculously consistent. Another reason why this flash is a game changer. But here is the icing on the cake. Underneath the cap and your rubber diffusion dome is an 800 watt daylight balanced LED modeling light to pair with your strobe. So if you're a photographer like me that shoots in the studio and outdoors, but also wants to do production and YouTube videos, this super powerful modeling light is a game changer and makes this unit an all-in-one for your production needs. This is the first time that I've seen a modeling light so bright in a strobe system, let alone LED and daylight balanced, specifically geared towards photographers that are versatile. Couple other notes about it: at 800 watts, the recycle time is 3.5 seconds. You bring it down to about 500 watts, it is super fast. We've already tested one of these strobes on a Sony camera that can do 14 frames per second, and this thing at lower power was able to keep up with every single pop at a consistent power, which is fantastic. The system comes with the charger and the battery. The batteries slide right into the side. You can fit 2 batteries in here at the same time. They'll charge them consecutively, so one after the other. And you get a pretty decent life out of it. They'll slide right into the back, so when you're not using the AC, the battery will cover up that AC plug and will go right in the back right there. This is the crazy part about these rubber diffusion caps, and I'm going to power this system on so you can actually get a look at this. There we go, she's on, and that modeling light is bright. Now I know I'm talking for a while, but trust me, this keeps getting better and better. There's a reason why PulseBuff used a rubber diffusion dome, and it's magnetic. It pops off and pops back on. It's for this. This is the PulseBuff Color Gel Dome Set. Inside are 8 colors, everything from red, blue, orange, yellow, turquoise, I think it's cyan, green, purple, and magenta. You get almost every color in here that you need. And all you need to do is take one of these color gel domes, pop off your white diffusion dome, and then just drop the color on. And it's that simple, and it'll work with any modifier that can fit on the Link system. So you can have everything from soft boxes to simple reflectors to even the largest modifiers, and be able to switch out the colored gel domes with ease. So no more taping up big gels and getting things crumpled and trying to make sure all the edges are sealed so the color doesn't leak. This is the new game-changing system for using color gels in your sets. Alright, so we're looking at this back display. This display is gorgeous. The numbers are big. It's easy to see in broad daylight or in the studio. The modeling light tracks with the strobe. So the numbers range from -8 all the way to 0, which 0 is going to be your maximum power, and then you're removing stops of light from there. So you can either go down 1 stop, 2 stop, 3 stop, 4 stops of light that you're removing from the 800 watts. And I'm just going to give you a little taste. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to bring this all the way down to -8, and I'm just going to show you how ridiculous this is. So there's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0, and that's 800 watts, guys. You probably can't even see me anymore. I'm over here, trust me, I'm still behind the light, but this is just the modeling light, this isn't the strobe. Until you hit the button, and then it will recycle and the light will power back up when it hits full power again and it's ready to go. And you can adjust the ready mode, whether it's light-based, sound-based, silent, or both. But I was happy to shed a little light on the situation. Now I know I've already mentioned a lot, and we can go into all the other details about how it can do 100 volts to 240 volts depending on what part of the world you're in, or how the app connects to all your lights including your legacy lights, and you can adjust the power settings, you can even update the firmware from the app. The list goes on and on. You can check all the details in the PulseSeeBuff website, and link is in the description below. But now we're going to take this into the field and we're going to show you just how amazing this flash is in action.